Hello there.
How's it going?
Good. Jay Sweet. A little echo though.
Hello.
Esteban, you there?
Yeah, I'm not sure if my video is going to work.
Oh, okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, we could use the audio from you. That's fine.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
No problem. And Tyler, you hear me okay?
I'm good.
All right, great. All right, gentlemen, welcome to the Jazz Real Book. I have with me Tyler Bullock and Esteban Castro, the two recent recipients of the Gilmore Bell Young Artist Award. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll start with you, Tyler, if you don't mind. Tyler, tell me what it means for you to have received this award.
Well, it's definitely a massive honor. It was extremely surprising because this is where the inaugural recipients. So this award didn't exist for jazz before, and I think it's just incredibly encouraging to continue pursuing my development in this music and to just keep going.
Sure. Were you surprised to have won? Were you aware that you were in contention?
Well, that's what I was saying is that we weren't, at least I wasn't even aware that this award even existed.
Mhm.
So it was complete. Like I had no idea that this was even going on until they called me and said, hey, you won this award. So that was a incredibly, pleasant surprise.
Yeah. It's my understanding. I had Seth on the program discussing it, and I guess it wasn't like a competition where you went and performed. It was just there was an awareness, like behind the scenes, they were checking you guys out, I guess.
Yeah.
Pretty wild. Cool. And Esteban, if I can ask you the same question, what does it mean for you to have won this award?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's such an honor. Yeah, I was at the Gilmore about 2 years ago, and they sort of told me that the award they said that they were about to start. I think that was when they were sort of starting their like nomination process, and
Sure.
they said, oh yeah, like we're gonna start this award where we have these judges like go to people's performances, and then after 2 years we pick winners. And they had mentioned it to me in passing, and then I had sort of forgotten about it, and then I got a text from Seth about 2 months ago saying that I had won the award. And it was a huge surprise because you know it'd been 2 years since it was brought up, and I had no idea that I was even in contention. So yeah, it's like I said, it's a huge honor. It's such a great thing to be a part of this community of people. A lot of piano players that have gone through the Gilmore have gone on to do incredible things, and it's an honor to be a part of that lineage.
Yeah, definitely. Well deserved. I heard you both play. Um, yeah. It's earned for sure. Now, did you guys know each other prior to this?
Yes, we did. We went to college together at Juilliard. Esteban was 1 year ahead of me, and yeah, we know each other.
Okay, that's cool. Good. So, if we could go back, let me ask you a little bit, since I have you up on the screen right now, Tyler. Tell me a little bit about your upbringing and how you came to play.
So, I started playing piano when I was young, very like maybe 4 years old,
Mhm.
um, and kind of I guess you could call them classical lessons, although it wasn't necessarily just like classical music, but it wasn't jazz. So I was taking piano lessons for a while, and I loved music, but there was I don't know that it was something that I was like super motivated
Okay.
on until I was in middle school, and then I was introduced to jazz by a man named Richard Rapani who he actually taught at the high school that I was going to go to, but he would come and work with like the jazz band, and he showed me some Oscar Peterson records,
Mhm.
and also introduced me to this organization in Nashville where I'm from, called the Nashville Jazz Workshop, and they have like some classes and like a summer camp, and that experience almost immediately I just loved the music so much, and pretty quickly it was what I wanted to do.
Mhm.
I also played cello in middle school, but that
Okay.
been dropped, but maybe I'll pick it back up one day.
Oh, solid. Yeah. So, parents, remind me, is your father a musician?
No, my there's a lot of music on my mom's side, and my mom at one point in her life was a like an R&B singer.
Mhm.
Um, she left that industry, but there is a lot of music on her side of the family.
Okay, cool. So was it Oscar Peterson, like was he your first like major influence, or you just remember hearing him?
Honestly, I mean, I feel like piano wise, it was him and Bill Evans were like the first two big
Oh yeah.
major influences on me. And then, Herbie and Bud Powell and Wynton and everybody else. But yeah,
Sure. Yeah, I had the great pleasure, I mean, obviously years ago, of interviewing Oscar Peterson. And
wow.
yeah, I mean, talk about not just a genius piano player, but even in his discussions, I mean, the guy had an intellect and a kindness that was really resonated with me,
Yeah.
for sure. Cool. Esteban, if I can ask you the same question, talk a little bit about your upbringing and how you came to play and know about jazz.
Yeah, I also started when I was really young. I think I was like 3 or 4, and um, yeah, very similarly, I started with playing classical music. But I've always like pretty much ever since I started playing, I always really liked to improvise.
Hmm.
Um, and when I was 6, my family had moved to Paris for a year, and I I I would like get up and in front of my like first grade music class and like improvise these like really uh you know probably not great like little things that I would play and torture the class with my my little improvisations. But my teacher at the school, she was a jazz musician. She was like sort of more on the like free improvised music kind of scene over there. And
Okay.
she saw that I liked to improvise, and so she was like, you should like really consider learning jazz. So she introduced me to a piano teacher over there, and that's or a jazz piano teacher, and that's when I started playing jazz. And then when we moved back to New Jersey when I was 7, we did a bunch of different programs over there. I started at Jazz House Kids.
Sure.
I did that for a while. I did the MSM pre-college, and yeah, I sort of did both classical and jazz, like leading up to going to college.
Oh, awesome. Where in I'm calling you from New Jersey. Where in New Jersey are you from?
Oh, I lived in a bunch of different towns in Jersey. Actually, we moved to Secaucus
Uh-huh.
first, and then Haworth, and then I went to high school in Hackensack.
Oh, okay, so north.
Yeah.
Oh, really cool. All right, great. And who are some of your major influences once you started to get into the music?
Yeah, it's funny when I was really young, before I started playing jazz, my dad really liked Thelonious Monk, and he would play me a lot of Thelonious Monk. And I at first I didn't understand it. Like I hated it when I was like a 4 or 5 year old.
Right, right.
And then my first jazz teacher was also really big into Monk, and then I sort of started to come around, and then um, and then I've started to really appreciate it as I grew older. And he's, obviously, you know, I mean, he's become one of my biggest influences. Um, Similarly, I think Oscar Peterson and Bill Evans are also two people that I really listened to when I was young. I think they're a lot of times, sometimes people's first like introductions into jazz as like a piano player. And then of course, yeah, like Tyler said, Bud Powell, Art Tatum, you know, yeah,
Yeah.
it's funny. I sort of went backwards. Like feel like I started with like Oscar Peterson, Bill Evans, Herbie, Keith Jarrett, Chick, and then
Mhm.
as I sort of grew older, I went backwards to like all the great stride pianists and bebop pianists and people like that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that seems like a commonality. I mean, and Monk, it's funny, as quirky as his music can be to people initially, he seems like a gateway for a lot of people into jazz. Um, I'm not sure exactly why that is. Maybe because it's like maybe that I don't know. It's accessible and but yet it's so unique, you know. I don't know why that resonates for people, but I've heard that a lot. That Monk was like their first sort of get, the doorway into jazz piano.
Yeah. Yeah, and he also, it's interesting, there's this pianist that my dad used to play for me a lot, who's a Cuban pianist who plays, like Latin music. And he
Mhm.
used to play his music in the house all the time as a kid. And he's Ruben Gonzalez. I'm sure you
Sure. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, so he loved Ruben Gonzalez. So I feel like he kind of like had there was a lot of similarities with the way that he would play that music and like Monk playing jazz. Like there's a lot of similarities there. So I think like maybe making that connection as a kid
Yeah,
also. Yeah.
I could see that. Were your parents musicians as well?
No, I no, nobody in my family is a musician actually. I'm the only one.
Very interesting. Cool. So the part of winning this award, it comes with a $25,000, I think, prize, correct?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, so what? Well, not that I work for the IRS or anything, but what are your guys' plans to do with that? That's a pretty nice that's a pretty nice prize. Tyler, what about you?
Well, um, I think eventually it's part at least part of it's going to go to recording,
Mhm.
um, potentially also like touring. Um, but those plans are still in formation.
I get you. Yeah, cool. Esteban, you have any plans to do something musical with the money?
Yes, I mean, very similar. I've been thinking about recording, and it's the like Tyler said, the plans are sort of still in the early stages. I've been, you know, trying to sort of plan out like, over the next, like the next year, like kind of winter, springtime, getting some, stuff, leader stuff lined up, and then hopefully using the money to record, and then from there working with the people at the Gilmore to see how we can use the rest of it.
Excellent, cool. Yeah, so I mean, talk about a little. So you both Juilliard, um, class of Tyler. Did you guys both? Are you both out of there now, or you still going?
Yeah, I was class of 2025, so I
Okay,
just graduated this year, and then I think Esteban was class of 2024.
excellent,
Mhm.
cool. So talk about some of your mentors, whether they were Juilliard instructors or not. Who are some of the people, Tyler, who really mentored you along the way?
Yeah, well, one person, well, I should go back to Nashville, um, because the two people who they retired, but that were running the Nashville Jazz Workshop, their names are Lori Meacham, who's a pianist, and Roger Spencer, who's a bass player.
Okay.
They ran that program, so they were really just really great teachers and mentors as I was sort of beginning my journey with jazz. And I think that their kindness and love for the music that really um, inspired me a lot.
Mm.
Um, and then up here, so my freshman year, at Juilliard, my teacher at my combo was a saxophonist named Bruce Williams,
Oh,
who,
I know. Sure.
yeah, and it was like kind of part of the way through the year. I was like, hey, like I really want to play with you sometime,
Hmm.
if you know. And he would send me some stuff to check out. And then that summer, I started playing with him in Jersey
Sure.
a lot at just various kind of places. And through that, then I got started playing with the Roy Hargrove Big Band, who, even though he's passed away, they still do a lot of gigs. And through those two things, I sort of got a lot of different opportunities to play. So he was really awesome. Also, all my teachers at Juilliard, like Mark Carey and Donald Vega and Ted Rosenthal and Jeffrey Keyser, have been great.
Yeah, I mean, you've mentioned a lot of people, and several have been on the program. Go back to Bruce, because when I lived up in North Jersey, I almost got to play with him on a weekly basis, because we would do like a jam session on Monday nights, and there was a place called Trumpets Jazz Club, and he was around there a lot. What was some of the? He's got a very definitive way of expressing himself, and Bruce he could be a little tough too at times, I would say, but very fair and very honest. What were some of the things specifically that like Bruce would instill upon you?
Looking back, I think one thing was understanding how comping works,
Mm,
like understanding how to create basically make the music feel good, which is something that I'm always trying to do.
sure.
And there's different contexts and many different ways of doing that. People have their preferences or whatever. But to me there is, with all the great pianists,
Hmm.
for the most part, they were also all great. They could fulfill all of the roles of the piano solo,
Sure.
comping and everything. So understanding how that's supposed to feel, and also not being um, sort of not playing cliche, not being a cliche player. I think those
Yeah.
were some of and also just some of the music that he had me, like Stanley Cowell,
Hmm.
who he played in the band with, Buster Williams,
Sure.
Barry Bartz. Hearing those stories and those experiences was great.
Yeah, that's really great, man. And it's that's interesting that you mentioned, and maybe Esteban, you can maybe elaborate a little too. It seems like a lot of young piano players, again, it's a little bit of the backwards thing where they learn how to solo very well and how to play, but the comping is usually something that most people don't really.
Oh,
Actually, it's a rhythm section instrument, and playing in the ensemble, is invaluable, right? So. And a lot of times we praise these innovators like the Oscar Petersons and the Bill Evans, but we often don't talk about just how important and how impactful their comping was.
yeah,
Am I based there?
yeah. I think it's like orchestration, really. So it's like it's kind of all the same thing. It's just whether or not you are, I guess, soloing or playing some kind of melody, but it's how understanding how things fit together, like how the band fits together. And
Yeah.
it's not really about everybody doing the same thing. Like that doesn't really tend to sound good. Is everybody trying to like get in the same?
Mm.
But there's also a way to be very, very interactive. But it's like before that, I think you kind of have to understand the way that the band is orchestrated and how to make that feel good. And so, yeah, all those people understood that. And they also played so much that I think there was, now it's like people don't play in bands, tend to not play in bands as much. They do, but it's not, I don't think it's as like constant as it was.
Yeah, yeah, like the more the journeyman, sideman kind of a role. That's what you're saying.
Well, not just the sideman role, just like the people playing in bands consistently. People do, but it's, I don't think. I mean, they like that you talk about like Bill Evans or Wynton, like they were playing with Miles Davis like every night for a long, long time, and they developed that concept.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying for sure. Yeah, Esteban, if I could bring you back in, maybe you could discuss some of your notable mentors.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough growing up to study with the great Fred Hirsch. I
Mm.
just studied privately with him from around when I was 13. And, we still keep in touch up to this day. I had a lesson with him the other, like I think about a month ago, a few weeks ago. Um, and he was definitely someone, who is really important. He's, as everyone will tell you about him, or I'm sure if you've met him, like he's not afraid to tell you what he thinks, even if it's not positive. And I got a lot of that when I was younger. It really helped me. And he felt like someone who, he always like knew exactly what to say. That felt like he could kind of read my mind at certain points, and like he would say things that would um be like kind of exactly what I needed to hear. So um yeah,
Yeah,
he's been, someone who's been really important for me. At the MSM pre-college, I had a great classical teacher, who his name is Philip Kaywin. He's no longer with us, but he was my teacher from started teaching me when I was like 9 or 10.
mm,
And he was my teacher all the way up until I started college when I was 18. Um, and he was really, really instrumental in terms of teaching me like how to play the piano, like what my, what everything in my body should be doing while I'm playing. Um, and he was also just a, really great, he was an appreciator of music, and he was really encouraging of my jazz playing. Like I think there's a lot of times when you have people studying classical music, like the teachers sort of like really discourage them from like playing other types of music, like playing jazz music or any other type of music. And he
is it-
was so not like that. He just really liked, he really liked great music in general. And I have so many stories of him. uh,
yeah.
he he went to he went to this gig that I had when I was like 15 or something. I was playing at this place called the Catano,
Mhm.
um, and I played like 3 sets, and it went until like 12 a.m. or 1 a.m. or something. And he went to every single set. He stayed there from 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. And then afterwards, he asked us to drop him off at his studio at MSM because he had to practice for like a concerto that he was playing in like 3 or 4 days or something. So he just had like a really sort of giving attitude that I really took with me. Um,
Yeah, that's phenomenal. I mean, when you have a person like that in your corner, it's so important. And you mentioned Fred Hirsch. He was on the program about a month ago, and yeah, I can't imagine what a lesson with him would be. I mean, talk about a guy. He's an open book, man. I mean, so
yeah,
honest, and his music reflects it too. And in terms of creativity, I can't think of a better person to be around.
yeah, he's so encouraging of you like being yourself. And similarly to like when Tyler was talking about Bruce and like cliches, like Fred hates, you know, cliches or like trying to play stuff that someone else has played. You know, he'll tell you if he feels like you're trying to do that. But yeah, no, it was just such an important relationship for me. I'm so grateful to have, you know, had the opportunity to get to know him and study with him.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, give him my regards next time you see him.
I
Uh,
will.
yeah, I really enjoyed my conversation with him. And I've been reading his book recently, and man, what a life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as like, I'll pose this to you, Tyler, first. As like a young jazz musician, what do you think you can bring to the music that not only adds to the tradition, but what are you striving to do musically that might separate you from possibly other players?
I think that there is one thing that I've been thinking about a lot recently is that the way that the sort of continuum of the music felt like it was progressing and progressing and progressing, and then it became like we have to um, codify like the way that you're supposed to play at a certain point.
Mm,
And what some of the music that I've been checking out a lot that has kind of become maybe not all not I don't know considered not it's kind of like not shoved to the side, but it's some music that I really like is like some of the music from the late '60s, early '70s of like Miles's band of that period,
sure.
or like the end of the second quintet into some of the other stuff.
Mm,
Um, like the beginning of like Return to Forever and Weather Report, and especially Tony Williams' Lifetime, I really like
mm,
because that music felt like it was really continuing the creative direction of jazz. Like it wasn't. Eventually, that so-called fusion became more kind of commercialized, which is not,
yes.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but at that time, it really wasn't. It was continuing the creative direction of jazz, just incorporating some other elements. And so that's essentially what I'm trying to do because I feel like now it's the directions that people go in is kind of like extremely strict adherence to a so-called tradition, but I'm not totally convinced of that, but that's kind of what that is. Or it's um, maybe a more commercial direction,
Mhm.
or it's kind of somewhere in between. And I'm also not trying, like, I love all these people's music, but I think that there's a way to um, take the creative sort of direction of jazz and that it went in. I can, there's like layers of detail that I could go into, but and have more of a less rigid approach to the way that you can play. Um, but that still is kind of coming out of the same continuum, if that makes sense.
It
Not
does. It
everybody's
does.
doing that, but there's a way that, and it'll become clear as I like record the music and stuff like that. But
Absolutely, yeah. But I mean, I guess, and both of you, the musicians and the pianists specifically that you've mentioned, all really kind of pushed the boundaries of what was possible. And you talked about tradition and how maybe uh, you didn't say it, but maybe implied how it can kind of become maybe something stagnant. Uh, you know, the memorable ones like the Bill Evans and the Art Tatums and all those guys you mentioned, Chick Corea, of course, definitely were pushing the boundaries of what was happening previously, right?
yeah, I think that at that time there wasn't as much of a like they had to make a lot of stuff up because it didn't exist yet. I mean, like when bebop started, that didn't even exist,
Right.
and now it's like that way of playing is sort of how everybody's supposed to play. but it's like at one time that didn't even exist, like that they had to make it up. And so which means that it was okay to play in a different way, but still come, with all that knowledge from the same continuum, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
stuff I've been thinking about.
that's very cool. Esteban, if I can ask you a similar question, what do you strive to bring to the tradition of jazz?
Yeah, it's a hard question. I try less to think about like like what can I personally add to this, or like how can I be different, and I tried more to just like kind of take in the um a lot of the, I mean, incredible music of obviously what came before us, and also our peers, and try to just you know take all of it in, and then just like kind of um create what I feel like makes sense to me, and maybe see where it falls.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I guess it's a bit of an unfair question because it does have to happen organically, but yeah, it's just so cool to have guys at your age playing at the level that you are with the people that you are already, and definitely certainly part of the tradition, and we all look forward to see what you come up with next. Both compose, correct? Tyler, you compose?
Yeah, we both write music.
Yeah, that's great. Cool. So, what current projects, and I guess since I keep asking Tyler, let's start with Esteban. Esteban, what current projects are you working on now?
Yeah, I've been writing a lot recently. Um, in terms of as a leader, I'm going to be playing some stuff coming up in the and I'm still working on like lining everything up, but like in the winter and spring of next year. Of course, we're both going to be going back to the Gilmore Festival in May and playing with our bands, which should be great.
Cool.
Um, there were a few projects that were released that I was on this month, actually, that just came out. I did um, a duo album with great tenor player Ben Solomon. He wrote like a bunch of these duo, fully, completely through composed, like written out
Mhm.
pieces. Um, and so that just came out. There's some uh, tracks. This like this band that I'm in called New Music. It's um, more like kind of experimental music. There's a lot of like sort of like post production.
Okay.
Um, it's led by this drummer Ethan Cogan, and like electronics player Hank Languish. It's like sort of co-led by them too. So there's some stuff from them that's out, and then a new album by bass player Russell Hall came out a few weeks ago that I played on. Um, yeah, and then there's some other albums that I think should be coming out fairly soon that I'm playing on.
Excellent. Cool, man. And Tyler, what are you up to these days?
Yeah, I'm also doing a lot of stuff with my trio. I'm going to Nash. We just did like a 2-night run at Mesro
Mhm.
like 2 weeks ago, and I'm going to Nashville with them um, on the 25th of this month. Um, Also done some recording, and I'm gonna do some recording. I just recorded a record with Ulysses Owens Jr. That's gonna I don't know when it's gonna come out, but it's probably not gonna take too long.
Sure.
Um, I'm gonna be doing a recording in a few weeks with Anthony Hervey, great trumpet player, um, and yeah, playing with I'm playing with Herlin Riley at Dizzy's next month, and Etienne Charles in St. Louis next month. So just different stuff.
Oh, yeah. But both of you make your home base in New York still?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Sure. Excellent. Yeah. So if it wasn't music, Esteban, what are your other interests? What else would you be doing?
Man, I have no idea. Yeah, I'm not sure. I sort of like, I feel like I always kind of knew that I wanted to be a musician. My parents were both like kind of like science people. And like in school, I was always a lot better at like math and science than I was at other subjects. Um, so they kind of wanted me at first to like do something like that, but that was never really like something that I felt like I really wanted to do. So I really don't know. I don't know what. I'm
I mean,
sorry.
you started. No, I know. Yeah, I mean, you started so young, right? I mean, 4 years old, you were saying. So, I mean, it probably wasn't even the time to even think about doing something different.
Yeah, yeah. By the time I was old enough to like start thinking about that, I think I'd already sort of knew that I wanted to play.
What interest outside of music, though, do you have?
Man, I feel like there's a lot of like I don't have any like really exciting answer for that question. I feel like my hobbies are very like normal and uninteresting.
Gotta get you a hobby, man. That's cool. Tyler, what about yourself? You said, initially you were a little unsure. What are some of your what do you think you would be doing if it wasn't for the music thing?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't even. I just didn't think I was gonna do mute. Like that wasn't even a thought that I was gonna be a musician necessarily until I got into jazz and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do jazz. But before that, I was sorry, thought a sneeze was coming on, but it juked me out. But before that, I was all similar to Esteban. I thought I was gonna do something in like the STEM field. When I was a freshman in high school, I did this program at Vanderbilt where we would go like one day a week to Vanderbilt to like do these classes and that was cool. But that was also like I had been doing jazz for like a year, a little over a year at that point, and so by that time I was like, I'm not trying to. I want to play, do music. But I'd probably do something in STEM, and that stuff really interests me still. So yeah.
Cool. All right, gentlemen. Well, anything I missed, Esteban, anything else you want people to know?
Nothing's coming to mind, no.
Okay, cool. And how do people reach you if they would like to?
Yeah, you can I have Instagram. You can reach out to me there. It's just my Esteban M Castro and then an underscore. Um, Pretty simple. I have a like a contact form on my website that goes to my email that you can, use to contact me.
Cool. All
Yeah.
right. Same for you, Tyler. Anything I missed? Anything you want people to know? And how could people get in touch with you?
Yeah, I mean, pretty all my performance dates are on my website, tylerbullock2.com, and my Instagram, tylerb.2. And yeah, you can email me at tbullock2@gmail.com.
Excellent. Cool. Well, once again, guys, congratulations on the Gilmore Award, and I appreciate both your music and what you're doing, and look forward to hearing more and more from you. And I look forward to meeting you both in person someday, maybe even getting a chance to play.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Best of luck, guys.
Thank you. Have a good rest.
You do the same. Take care.
Bye.